This American Cornhole special presentation is brought to you by
There is a dream that starts with so many kids around the world, in their driveways, their backyards, with their friends, or by themselves. It's that fantasy moment where it's just you against the greatest of all time. For so many kids that grew up in the 80s, this was your moment to take on Michael Jordan, with 5 seconds left and maybe a Game 7 buzzer-beater world title on the line. For the sport of professional cornhole, this fantasy is not only possible, it happened twice. In 2009, a young man by the name of Brett Guy, following in his father's footsteps, had made it to the semifinal of the American Cornhole Organization's Singles World Championships. He lost to his father, but he sent a clear signal to the world that one day a young man or young woman could come along and make a run at the title.
Rough start to the day, but coming on good. Besides screwing up a couple air mails, threw great, felt great. Should be a very interesting match against Erick. Should be a very interesting match. He's throwing good, I'm throwing good, so yeah, something's got to give.
See, in 2010, an up-and-coming 13-year-old named Erick King played his way into the semifinals of the ACO Singles World Championships. His opponent? None other than Matt Guy, who had already won 4 World Singles titles and was laser-focused on winning his 5th. While sometimes life doesn't play out like it does in the backyard, this moment for Erick King was much more than a loss against arguably the greatest of all time. It was yet another sign that one day a kid will be king or queen. During season 14, 17 states were represented throughout the year in the juniors division in majors all across the country. While some kids will spend hours practicing shooting free throws at the park or firing their fastball in the backyard, these kids practice cornhole. If you've never felt humility, try being a grown man and being beaten 21-0 on the cornhole court by a 12-year-old. A few juniors have begun separating themselves from the pack, including Erick Davis, a 15-year-old phenom who spent much of season 13 ranked as the #1 player in the entire world. And that wasn't just for juniors, that was for everyone. It wasn't until the season 13 Player of the Year Championship where Erick lost his top ranking to, you guessed it, the GOAT, Matt Guy. Even with the loss, Davis was becoming a well-known name from the Chair City Cornhole League out of Thomasville, North Carolina, and with it came big expectations for season 14. Unlike Davis, who was turning heads when he walked into the arena, a bit of an unknown emerged from Shenandoah Valley Cornhole in Virginia. The SVC had become the strongest league in the entire country, putting players in 5 of the 6 season 14 World Championships. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that when you play against the best of the best on a weekly basis, while you may fall short quite a bit in the beginning, eventually you will find a way to fight back and you will find a way to win. And that is exactly what Austin Cameron did when he arrived at the World Championships in Las Vegas. And he did so fearlessly. At the end of the season 14 World Championships, there was a near complete consensus that the best match had been the juniors. There was Erick Davis, quiet, keeping his mind focused on the boards. And then there was Austin Cameron, who looked as if he was made for that spotlight. He soaked the spotlight in, and he shot it right back out. At the end of the first game, it looked like a foregone conclusion that Davis would emerge as the ACO Juniors World Champion. With the score at 21-11, it seemed Davis's experience in these big matches was playing into his favor as Austin showed visible frustration. However, the young kid with the big heart from Virginia was about to show the world that his belief in his game was powerful. Watching the second game was similar to the movie Rocky, where Apollo Creed's experience and skills seemed to overmatch Balboa, putting him on the canvas with fresh cuts, but ultimately revealing just how strong his opponent was. Just as Rocky kept getting back up, looking at Apollo and telling him to bring it, Austin fought back and showed what the heart of a champion looked like.
He wins this one, he's the champion, but I'm telling you, you heard Austin's. These people can feel that equalizer coming.
Absolutely has to have this.
I think he's gonna. You think he pulls in 3? I figure Davis is just gonna get back in his groove and move on, but he's not conceding anything.
Austin's going to push this bag off further to the right and in the hole. Get it out of play. Put this in there, yeah.
You'll see Davis move this one up.
So if Cameron wins this one, then we go to a game 3.
I'll tell you, this shootout mentality starting to happen too. Bang, 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 bang.
Goes up.
Nope. Drops it in off the right side. That is just a bag that shouldn't go in, and it goes in. There's another one. Rolls it up and over. That's just nuts. Austin to close it out.
I think Austin will close this one. Erick Davis is a little frustrated right now. He's maybe a little bit in awe. I think Austin Davis is showing him he can hang. It's all that Davis can do to keep up with him. Fighting from behind is tough to see 4-bag after 4-bag, back to back to back.
This was a championship for the ages as we got a glimpse of the future of cornhole.
Takes a shot. Boom, boom!
Factor the humidity, you think, a little bit? The sun slide the way they think it would?
Yeah, probably so.
Fantastic airmail. Combination of humidity and... No, but 2 shots then. One off the board, one too dirty. There we go. Austin's playing to the crowd and he leaps ahead. Wow. And they're eating it up, man. They love it. Rockets ahead 9-7.
He's thinking about that airman. He wanted to take it, and then he said, I better be smart. Less aggressive right here, more than likely. Hey.
Oh! quick follow. It just slithers in. These guys have nerves of steel, ice in their veins. So nonplussed and so good. And again, they can play the rest of their lives. Here we go!
Erick is definitely flustered.
So Austin knows that too, and that's why he's egging the crowd on. This will be a classic on the ACO Digital Network.
Yes, it will. Erick returns the favor halfway.
Goes up.
Stuck it short to be what's it going to be.
There's no longer just one Brett Guy, but now dozens of young players who legitimately can and will make a run at becoming not just a juniors champion, but the king or queen of the entire sport.
ACO World Juniors title.
Austin Cameron will be a force to be reckoned with in the years to come, but you have to believe that Erick Davis's time is coming, and it won't be long until each of these young men will have an ACO World Championship title proudly won and displayed on their mantle.